Okay guys, welcome to week 4 of the 5K mailer challenge. Now this is going to be a very fun one. I'm going to show you guys how to price your mailers to create discounted offers and lock up deals for big profits. Now if you guys are new here, I've done almost 700 deals since 2019, deploying essentially the same exact strategy. And this is the same strategy that I've copy and pasted in over 400 other land investors' businesses. So I know this stuff works, but I'm so confident in it, I'm going to give it away for free in this series. And I'm going to document the results of deploying $5,000 of my own money, and we'll see exactly what happens. So this will be a really fun week. Let's jump into the computer. Okay, here we are guys inside of Land Insights. So if you guys remember, there were 2 markets that we selected last week. There was the Polygon from Washington County in Idaho, and there was a VOTS subdivision in Park County. Today, we're gonna be tackling the VOTS subdivision. Now, inside of LIA, we teach 4 pricing mechanisms: polygons, acreage ranges on a county-wide level, zip codes, and subdivision. See, ultimately, it's our job to find high-demand markets with the right levels of supply. That's exactly what we use Land Insights for. And then inside of Land Insights, we validate that there's homogeneous pricing within that market. The problem is rarely is there homogeneous pricing for an entire market. So you need some kind of mechanism to fracture that market. And that's why we teach those 4 strategies inside of LIA. And so today in this video, we're going to be pricing the Park County subdivision, and you'll see exactly how I do that. Now this subdivision generated 622 parcels with our initial filters. And then after our AI scrubbing, removing all the landlocked, flood zone, just all the bad properties, right? That delivered 485 post-scrub results. Now, if we come over here, you guys can see here's our Park County data. This is exported from Land Insights. There's a lot of data in here. We're not going to use all of these different columns here, but we will use all of these here. Now, I've already segmented this from largest to smallest. So you can see our largest property is 9.83 acres. There's just a few stragglers that are a little bit larger in the subdivision, but for the most part, everything is about 1 to 2 acres, okay? So our next job here is to actually export this sales data. Now, it's a little bit funny because in Colorado on Redfin, they don't allow you to download a CSV. So if you type in Park County and you try to export this data, you'll see this download all button is not available. So the workaround is you need to first go to a state that allows you to export that sales data. Then you got to scroll over on the map. I just went over to California. I scrolled over on the map to our county, drew my polygon around the subdivision and exported it. Now, if you can see my polygon is not absolutely perfect, that's okay. We are going to tackle this once we actually get to the scrubbing of the data. Now, you might wonder, what the heck does it mean to scrub your data, Sumner? Well, good question, okay? There's really 2 things that we're going to do in terms of scrubbing comps. You can see this is the full export list. I had to go back 2 years. There just wasn't a ton of data here. So I had to fill that 2 years. So you see in total generated about 50 comps, okay? Now, one of the things that I did here is I removed all of the off-market sales. So what is an off-market sale? An off-market sale is something like this, okay? This is something that is getting picked up on the county level. The MLS is picking it up here, but it doesn't give us any metadata on the sale. Now, it was a real sale, but it didn't happen on market. As the name implies, it's an off-market sale. Could have been 2 cousins selling it to each other. We don't know much details about the property. We don't know anything about the terms. So I don't like to use these for my pricing because they're variable. Now, they are real sales, but what I really want to see is the full metadata. I want to be able to see the actual property at hand that sold. I want to see the days on market. I want to see the images. I want to see the listing copy. I want to see all of that. So I just removed all of these when you're inside your spreadsheet. So you're going to see something like this. There's going to be no sold icon on this, and this is going to be an off-market sale. If we go and actually click on this here, you're going to see, hey, this is an off-market sale. So it's some random satellite image. Oftentimes the satellite image isn't even accurate. And so that's going to be an off-market sale. So I just went and removed these. If I go over to the pre-removal, I've removed all the off-market sales. Now, I might be wondering, if you removed all the off-market sales, why does this say pre-removal? Well, this is pre-removal all of the outliers within this data set. You see, every single data set is going to have outlier comps that are not relevant to the average or median property type within a MAR data set, right? So you're going to find all sorts of weird stuff that slips through the cracks, and I'll walk you guys through this, that does not belong in your pricing data set. Things that have houses on them, major improvements, things that are swamps. That is not the median type of property that we're going to be marketing to, so I should not be basing my pricing off of it, okay? So this is the pre-removal. We've removed all of the off-market comps here. See, that brought us down to 37 total comps in the last 2 years, but we have not gone through the outliers. And so that's what we're gonna do here next. Now, a couple things that you're gonna notice in this initial data set here, price does not have a dollar sign, and that really drives me crazy. So all you gotta do is highlight this column, click the dollar sign icon, bam, now you've got dollar signs on it. The other thing is that you're gonna see the lot size is gonna be displayed in square feet. So in my pre-removals data set, you're gonna see that I actually have it in acreage here. All you gotta do is copy this formula. So if I click on this, you're gonna see I put in the column and the row. So this is column M, row 2, divided by 43,560, okay? 43,560, it's how many square feet are in 1 acre. So all you gotta do is create that formula and then scale it for all of these columns here, for all of these rows here, and you'll be good to go, okay? It's very annoying to not see the dollar sign, and it's very annoying to see the lot size in square feet. So it's just a quick adjustment they're gonna make inside your data set. Now, the other thing is I went and sorted this from largest to smallest, okay? Now we're gonna go over to the post removal, and we're gonna start removing comps from our data set. So all we're gonna do is just start toying around and looking for ones that seem like outliers. I already see this one at 250,000. This could be a little strange, just to see what the story is here, okay? So a $50,000 price improvement. Okay, what does that mean? Unique. So this incredible property includes a roughed-in driveway and a unique 1979 geodesic dome, adding a touch of character. So yeah, that's definitely an outlier, right? They don't show any images of it, but that's certainly an outlier. I'm not marketing the things that have geodesic domes on them on average. So I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna remove that. Let's look at this one that's at 220. That's about parcel to shy of 10 acres. So this one is outside the HOA, so this slipped into our data set. Now, I don't see any improvements. Power is located nearby for convenience, but I don't see any major improvements on this one. It is outside the HOA, so that's a bit misleading because we are marketing to HOA properties. But I'm probably gonna keep this in my data set because if you guys remember, I do have some larger 9-acre parcels, so I might keep that in there just for a point of reference. I will take into consideration that it's outside of the HOA, but I don't see any reason that we need to remove that for the time being. It's so limited on comps for that size that I feel kind of forced to keep it in. And even these ones here, it seems like it's trading in a realistic range, right? You know, 4 acres are trading at 175, 195. Well, it's probably fair that a 9-acre with no improvements is trading at 220. I don't see that why that would be an outlier. Now here's this one at $15,000. This is most certainly an outlier. This looks like it's not in the HOA, and this looks like it's on top of a mountain. It's at 11,000 feet in elevation. I actually can't believe anyone bought this property. I also can't believe that anyone even came up to this property. They probably just threw their drone out there, but still, that's pretty insane. So we're gonna remove that. Let's look at these ones here. So this one sold at 201, huge mountain views. I'm not seeing any improvements, so that looks about right. Let's keep on going through this list here. I'll just pick and choose a few. I'm not gonna bore you going through every single one of these outliers, so we'll just go through this quickly and you'll kind of get the gist. Here's this one at 130, right? This definitely seems like there's something funky going on here. So it's a normal 1 acre. Tribute so steps away from the Sumner Segment Creek. So it has an existing camper pad and electricity on site. I mean, that's not a huge improvement. I think it's the proximity to the water feature right here, the fact that you're across the road from the river. So that looks like it's more so an outlier based off of just location. Sold in 1 month, and it's definitely an interesting comp. I'm gonna keep that just for the time being. We'll come back to it. Here's this one at 125 for a 2 acre. See what the story is here. Nice about views. I mean, yeah, no physical improvements to the property. Perhaps it's just the quality of the lot. And on second thought, we are going to remove this 130. It's ridiculous. Okay. This one's at 85. Large 1.76 acres, got a cool view, year-round access. No, so this one looks like it's outside of the HOA. That might have been why I traded at the price that I traded at, because it's outside the HOA. We're gonna remove that. I'll take these comps got doubled up. It's the same comp twice. This is the same comp 3 times. Is that right? No. So, looks like they've got a survey done on it. I don't really see any reason. That's a terrible listing. I don't really see any reason that would be qualified as an outlier. So we're going to keep that bad boy in. We'll put this guy at 125 here. Okay, we looked at that one. 2 acre at 125. I don't know why this traded at what it traded at. You know, the problem is with removing outliers is sometimes you just don't. I think it's the view. It's just got to be the view. But it's got a cool view. That's the only thing I could think of, though, as to why this was traded this price. Because other 2 acres, and this one's at 73, right? So let's go see what's the quality difference in this one. Or is it bad listing? That's for sure. So this one is gently sloping. When they say gently sloping, that means it's very sloping. This one took a while. Some back and forth. Probably because of the slope. Maybe it had perk issues. Yeah, this is 125. I think it's just a view on the property is making it an outlier. It's a pretty big gap. I mean, it seems like something of that size should be trading at like the 85, 90 range. They were talking about $35,000, $40,000 of extra value. I think it's just because of the view. You really can't, there's nothing special about the lot. And you can tell, I mean, this one has no view, right? This one traded at 93, or what did this trade at? 94. We can fairly safely assume that most of the lots that we market to are not going to have stunning views. So that's probably a fair assumption, right? We look at this guy here, and we get out of this. So it took 4 months. That was during the winter. So I think, yeah, I just think that's the quality of the view, man. Quality of the view. Views sell. So we're going to come here and we're going to remove this 125. Let's keep on perusing through this list. Let's see this one at 39, huh? So definitely got some topo. I think that this lies on the left side. They're trying to hide it, but this is definitely a topo thing for sure. Super slopey. Now we use the AI shrub within Land Insights to remove all slope properties. So we're gonna come here and we're gonna remove that one. All right, guys, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to take your land investing business to the next level, 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, what I'm showing you here is literally the tip of the iceberg of what we teach inside of LIA. You owe it to yourself to get access to the highest quality education and the highest quality coaching in the entire land space. We are so confident in what we teach that you can talk to any one of our members. Talk to anyone, I really don't care. We build world-class land businesses and world-class land investors. If you guys want to see what we're all about, go over to landinvestor.co/apply and we'll give you the keys to the castle. Back to it. Okay, this one's at 80,000 for a 1 acre. It seems a little strange. Sacramento, so proximity to Sacramento Creek. That was just like that other comp that we looked at. Okay, we're gonna remove that one, definitely. Bit of an outlier. See this guy at 85, whoops. Less than an acre at 85, what's the story here? Okay, a lot doesn't look special, but it's got a complete septic plans for an engineer for a 4-bedroom. Initial groundwork started, they got a survey, septic approval, septic plans, permit applied and granted to all your well, leach well and septic. Yeah, okay, that's definitely not a lie. For sure. No questions asked. What about this one at 45,000? So 45,000. Looks fine. I mean, it's a little steep coming off this road. Building plans and survey in hands. Seller says sell. Okay. Oh my God. What in the heck? It says 2022. Yeah, that's definitely some slope issues. I'm going to keep this in here because look at it. It's got building plans in the survey that would make it an outlier, but it's also got slope problems. I'm going to say a survey slope. Let's say it balances out. I think this is probably typical for what just a vanilla lot with no survey would trade for. But you've got that crazy topo, and then you got the survey and building plans. But I think that they're going to balance each other out, to be honest. This one at 75,000. And you can see there's a high level of discretion involved. Like, am I going to make mistakes? Sure. Are you going to make mistakes? Sure. The cool thing with making offers, though, is that we just need to be right enough. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be like plus or minus like 15%, like low or high, for like the amount that gets the seller to pick up the phone. They say, yeah, this is a fair offer. If I want to sell quickly, this is a fair offer. That's all we're trying to do. We don't need to get it like perfect down to the decimal point. So if you make some mistakes here, that's okay. You can't make egregious mistakes. Like some of these comps you have to be removed, but keeping some in, it's not the end of the world. So, okay, this is a long description. I don't see anything about improvements. So what's interesting is I literally just drove through this town. I just drove through Fairplay, Colorado last week. Okay, this is a terrible listing. These are all photos of the same trees. They really couldn't take any other listing photos. Like, how many trees can you look at to sell a property? And go figure, it took forever to sell the thing. I don't think that's indicative of it being a bad property. They didn't get beat up on price too much given how long it took to sell. I think it's more indicative of a terrible listing. You can't sell a property just taking pictures of trees over and over again. You've got 21 photos of trees. That just doesn't work, especially boots on the ground photos. So we're gonna keep that guy in there. And then everything else is pretty tightly grouped. You know, I don't see a lot of disparity. This one at 160. We already looked at this. We didn't. Views. There's the real treat of these listing copies. This listing copy is so funny. This is your spot. Survey and engineer site evaluation already on hand. Okay, cool. So we're gonna remove that. Views. How amazing. Lots of views. They will look at this one at 94,000. Can't remember. Yeah, we did. Okay, we went to that one. I think we was at the 195. Let's see, 195. That's 3 acres. Stunning, huge mountain. Property is ideal for those looking for a secluded yet convenient located mountain retreat. Okay, literally every listing ever in a mountain says that. It's beautiful because it's secluded but still close to now. So I think this is a views game. This is just a views game. Wow, that photo is just wild. Yeah, I think this is views. I feel obliged to keep this in. It's just a flat property with good views. There's just nothing that tells you that needs to be removed. All right, so that is the pre-removal, okay? Or post-removal rather. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start building out our final data. So really simple. We're just gonna come in here and we're just gonna put in, I don't know, most of these are like, let's say, hold up. Yeah, okay, most of these are like 0.9 to like, let's just call it 1.5 acres, right? Next we got the 1.5 to like 2 acres. And we're just gonna kind of spitball this to start. We can refine it a bit more. And then, yeah, it's like 2.5 to like 3. There's really not much data there. And then it seems like it just jumps like 3 to 5, and then we'll just do like everything north of 5. 3 to 5, and let's go 5 plus. Not perfect, but we're gonna do it. We'll just start here, okay? So we're gonna come over, I'm just gonna go and drop in. We're just gonna take the lowest comp for this size bracket, and we're just gonna drop this in here. So our lowest comp, 0.9 to like roughly 1.5 is this $45,000 sale, okay? And I'll show you guys why we're doing this. Okay, 45,000. And then our highest sale in this bracket here, I think it's 75. Yeah, 76. 76, it's our highest sale inside here, okay? Man, I can't type. We'll tackle the median stuff here in a little bit. Okay, 45, 76. Now we're going, what's the next bracket? Like 1.5. So it's really like, yeah, it's like 1.5 to 2, which is really this range here. There's not much more data, which is 85 to 92. I mean, it's a little sparse on data. We'll key this in right now. We're probably gonna need to get a little more data there. We might play around with some on-market stuff to start to figure this out. Okay. Then we got 2.5 to 3. Wait. Sorry, that doesn't make sense. Like 2.1 to 3. So we got here to 3, okay? Our lowest sale in this bracket is 73 and our highest is 195. 73,000, 195. If that's going to get a little weird, we're going to get some more data as well. And then, so we already added that one. There's really not much else. I might have to separate these. We'll do 175, 195. I might have to separate these. 175. Yeah, we're going to need more data here. It's going to get a little tricky. But it's okay because price is very homogeneous. We're going to go to figure this out. This is going to go like 2.9 here. It's rough. We're just going to deal with it for the time being. So if we exclude that crazy comp, our highest comp in this data set is 94, right? And then everything past this 5 acre bracket, wait. Yeah, we just have this 220,000. That's all we got, folks. Okay. Now we can go work the median here in a second, but let me just explain some theory to you guys before we start touching on this median. What am I looking for here? Well, what I'm looking for, once I start removing outliers, this is very important. I'm looking for no more than 100% delta from that low to high price, okay? When there's no more than 100% delta from the low to high, I feel very confident that I can come in and make a blind offer and be pretty damn accurate, right? Once you start getting into deltas that are 300, 400, 500%, the range is just too wide. There's no way you're gonna be able to come in and make an accurate offer. Yeah, pretty much no way. So if I start finding myself in those situations, I need to think about, okay, how do I work myself out of it? Maybe I tighten the geography, right? Maybe I need to zoom in a bit more. Maybe I tighten the acreage ranges, okay? So maybe I start going, 1 acre to 1.2 acres or 2 acres to 3 acres opposed to 2 to 4 acres. However, I gotta start wiggling that data to get no more than 100% delta. Now, it's not a surefire guarantee you're gonna get deals, but this is a really good litmus test if you're working in an area that is homogenous. Now, in terms of offer percentages, that ultimately is up to the discretion of the land investor, okay? You could come in and offer 10% if you wanted to. You could offer 99% if you wanted to. Both presumably have merits, right? 99%, you're gonna get a lot of leads. You'll have to negotiate them all down, but maybe you're really good on the phones. 10%, you're gonna get very few leads, but maybe when you do get a lead, it's a home run deal. There's merits to both. Typically I'm offering, depends on the price point of the property, but 50, 60%, somewhere in that range, and then we're working it down to the phone. But pick your poison. But it'll be what are successful offering it high and offering a bit low. Your offer percentages do need to slide based off of price point though. So what you don't want to do is just blanket everything's at whatever, 67%, because different price points have different seller profiles and different reasons for selling. And as you get on the lower end of the spectrum, there's just less money involved, so it's less of an emotional decision. Selling at 10% for a $500 property might not feel that crazy. Selling at 10% for $1 million property, that feels crazy. There's a lot of money that you're leaving on the table. Typically people that own smaller properties too, maybe you're gonna be a bit more distressed on like an economic scale. Someone that owns $1 million property probably has more options at their fingertips, right? So you do need to slide your offer percentages based off a price point. Now, before you say Sumner, what's the magic percentage? It is up to your discretion, okay? There is no business out there where you truly just get to like plug and play every exact thing. Like, no, it has merits based off of the operator. So you do need to figure out how you operate. How do you want to run your business? What gels with you? And figure that out. I know people out there that send hundreds of thousands of pieces of marketing a month. And yeah, they're shooting really low and that's their goal. And they don't get a ton of deals, but when they do get a deal, they're monsters. I know people that send not a ton of marketing, but they're great on the phones, and that's really where they create value. So you got to figure out what works best for you, okay? So that's the name of the game. Really what we're going to do from here is we're going to start to kind of whittle this down. I need a bit more data for the 3 to 5s, and I need a bit more data for the 5s. One of the ways that I can do that is I can actually come over to Redfin, and we can just go and look at, for example, what's on market. Now you might be saying, Sumner, why would you want on market data? Well, I wouldn't prefer it, but you got to do what you got to do, right? So if I wanted to figure out stuff north of 5 acres, and there's not much, let me just go and start looking here, right? And then maybe I'll put in a cap too, just so I don't get any monster properties, 5 to 10 acres. And I can apply a discount rate to the stuff that's on market. Now, again, is not perfect, but it does give me a pulse on what's out there. Will these properties sell at these prices? Probably no. Will they sell close to it? Yeah, probably. I mean, as long as they haven't been up for 1,000 days, there's probably a chance that it's going to sell close to these price points. This one's been up for 8 days. Cool looking property. It's a crazy looking lake back there. Cool looking property as well. It's been up for 48 days. So I can build some expectations off of this. Again, it's not perfect, but this does give me a pulse. Now, if I were to come and look at these on market comps and they were at $50,000 and I have a comp at $225,000 for a 9 acre. All right, I'm a little weary. Something funky is going on here, right? That's not the case though. That's not the case here at all. This is all pretty much exactly in line with what we saw here, right? 9.9 at 220. Okay, that's like very reasonable. I don't see anything that scares me here. This one is 6.64. I will sell at that price on 6.25. So they are pricing high, but that's typical of all on-market listings. And so we'll start pulling in some additional data, and then we're going to come in. We're going to create an offer percentage here. We'll look at the median. We'll generate the median here. Once I refine this a bit more, we're going to come in and overlay our pricing. And that's really it, guys. That's the process. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with the rest of the series. I've got a bunch of really nice goodies for you down below. If you guys want to use the tool that I've been using this entire challenge, which is Land Insights, is bar none the best tool for land investors. We use it from selecting our markets, pricing our data, exporting our data, comping our deals, getting our realtors, listing our photo, editing our photo. Like, we do everything in it. It is the full end-to-end solution for land investors. Our users consistently tell me They use this website more than any other website online. In fact, they say the only time I'm online is when I'm using either Land Insights or I'm inside the LIA Discord. It's that good. So you can get 1,000 free leads and test drive the platform at landinsights.co/apply.